There you go. Joining us now, Senator Josh Harkins represents District 20. That's Rankin County, serves as the chairperson of the Senate Finance Committee. That means he's the guy that's got to raise all the money to fund the government. Is that right, Senator?
That's what they say.
We appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Absolutely. So we've had some good policy wins, I think, in the state of Mississippi from an economic perspective, but one in particular that I wanted you to share your thoughts on is this legislation that allows immediate expensing of capital investment against taxes as a deduction against tax liability for companies, for organizations, corporations, something that exists at the federal level. It was a bit of a reconciling item at the state level, but we saw fit to get something through.
We did, and I don't want to steal your next guest thunder. But that was
Senator Chris
he
Johnson
worked on really hard. But, yeah, I mean, I think it goes to kind of taking a balanced approach at tax policy. It's not just the personal income tax we're working on. There's also business taxes that we're working on to make our environment conducive for businesses to flourish here in Mississippi. Yeah, that's ultimately, our goal is to make it an environment that businesses want to locate here. They want to invest in Mississippi, and I think this is one step that we've taken that will help that come about. And expensing is, it's important. They make an investment in infrastructure and capital expense that they're using to for their business to grow, and we're treating it as such that we recognize that investment, and we want these businesses to stay here, and we want them to locate here.
Yeah, and we should point out it really doesn't. It doesn't eliminate any taxes. It just delays them. Essentially, what it does. So it's a tax deferral system, essentially, what it is, and it's intended to encourage businesses to make those investments because they know they can get that write-off in the year of investment, and that just kind of soothes the pain of spending money. Yeah, when you know about that. When it helps. It helps. So.
And I mean, we in 2016 we passed a law to eliminate the franchise tax, another painful, punishing taxes that's out there. So that we also passed a law this year eliminating the sales tax on software as a service that's not housed here, which is another a tax on business that some of our local businesses were going to feel the pain of. So I think what we're trying to do is have a robust look at our economic fiscal policy as it relates to taxes, and not just we're working across a broad spectrum of issues when we're talking about our tax policy, and we've taken steps to hopefully soften the burden on individual taxpayers by the tax cut we passed 2 years ago. This will be the elimination of the 4% bracket this fiscal year, and the next 3 years we'll take that 5% tax rate down to 4%. I think the fifth lowest in the country, assuming other states pause and don't take any other steps on their part. But some states are. I was just at a conference and another state was talking about their tax rate. They were taking it down to 5%. So I felt like we're a step ahead. But it is not a race, but it is an effort that a lot of states are looking at their tax policy and trying to be as inviting as possible.
A little competition going on,
absolutely.
I would say, in the red states to enact really tax reform that just eases the burden on taxpayers.
And conversely, I had a colleague in a northern state that says that they blew through an $18 billion surplus, and they are looking at raising taxes.
Yeah, going the other way.
And to me, it's just unfathomable that you would put your citizens and your businesses in that position, and it's inviting the exodus that some blue states are seeing with businesses leaving, looking for states where the economic climate is more conducive.
Crazy. So you brought with you the revenue reports from the Legislative Budget Office. It's something that I receive via email as well, and every now and then I'll ask a couple of questions of the folks down there at the LBO, and they're always very good about responding. But tell us how we did.
Well, last fiscal year we had a revenue estimate about $6.98 billion, and we wound up collecting about $7.69 billion. Yeah. So, and our budgeting process, we stayed pretty conservative on what we budgeted, and we wound up budgeting probably $600 million underneath what our estimate was. So we had some room in there, and we're going to wind up having about a little over $1.2 billion going to the CapEx fund, with our rainy day fund flush at $635 million. So we're sitting in a really good spot. This fiscal year started in July. We're 2 months in. This past month, I think we're about $3 million under our revenue estimate for the month. But the prior month, we were over 45. So we're $42 million above into this fiscal year, and I think we had an estimate around $7.5 billion for our revenue estimate.
Okay. So, the governor and many others in the legislature, of course, advocate for full elimination of the income tax, and they'll point to this and say, hey, look, we seem to be seeing structural progress here in that we're consistently generating surpluses. What are your thoughts about that? I know you've had some concerns about just full elimination.
Yeah, I think how we do it matters, and I think obviously we have been put in a position where we have experienced a lot of, I don't know, some people call it sugar from the federal government that has been pumped into the state. I think it was over $33 billion over and above what the normal federal participation is in our state budget. And of that $33 billion, about $13 billion went to individuals directly through PPP, EIDL, disaster assistance, unemployment compensation. So that's a lot of cash in the hands of individuals, not to mention the extra billions of dollars that cities, counties, the state received, and they were pushing it through. And agencies received a lot of money, Department of Health, Department of Education, Employment Security. There was a lot of agencies that had a lot of money. So I don't think, you can look at the historical 10-year collections and tell that we had an anomaly.
No, I see the chart.
And you can't make
straight up left or right.
Absolutely, and it looks like you're getting ready to climb Mount Everest. It's not a normal economy. I think it's something that we just need to be measured in our approach, and not take a bigger bite than we can stand to chew. And I think this is an aggressive. In 2016, we had a 10-year implementation on a tax cut that was about $300 million.
Yeah.
This tax cut's a $525 million one, and we've done it we're doing it in 4 years. So it's something that I think we're taking a sincere look, and we're cutting other taxes as well. That's what we got to remember, that it's not just personal income taxes that are being moved around and adjusted. It's the corporate side. It's business taxes. It's we need to have a robust economy in our state and jobs available for our citizens, and you can't leave them out of the equation altogether. So I think we're trying to take a holistic view at everything and really make sound decisions based on economic data that we have, and I think right now we're just kind of in an anomaly right now with all this money that's been pumped in, because it's not coming back again next year or the year after. But I think it's a good trend. I think we can also say that we're taking care of the things that we're supposed to be taking care of. We've made education a big priority with the teacher pay raise we've done. So we're taking steps in fulfilling our obligation of taking care of the responsibilities the government's supposed to do, and trying to give back to the citizens as much as we can without overextending ourselves. Yeah.
I can't let you get out of here without at least sharing your thoughts on PERS, something you and I have talked about. I've talked about on the program many times. This problem is not going away. Didn't get a lot of attention in an election year, as you would expect, but we're going to have to do something.
Yeah, I think we look at it every year. We meet with Executive Director Higgins, and we go over a lot of the issues that they're talking about. And every year, I guess starting right before COVID, we've talked about the funding ratio and how the performance of PERS, and the response I get is kind of interesting, that by 2045 we'll be at a certain level. And I've always kind of wondered, obviously the gist of that is that the people that are currently on the system in the first tiers will no longer be in the system, by 2045, 2050, 2060, as you go on, and the fund is cheaper to run at those outlying years. Mm-hmm. But to me,
the more recent tiers.
The recent tiers. Mm-hmm. And so, I understand that, but I think at the end of the day, we look at the what is due right now, what is our unfunded liability, and what's the status of the pension fund itself, and it's kind of troubling to see what where we are right now.
Yeah.
And obviously with the latest move of raising the employer contribution 5%, that's going to hit a lot of folks, a lot of different areas.
Wasn't popular with a lot of municipalities, and
no,
they don't get their money from the
popular
state.
with the municipalities, the counties, the schools. It's a lot of them.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll be talking about that some more. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
today,
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Senator Josh Harkins has been